Okay, let's get it. What's up, everybody? Tigers win. LSU beats South Carolina 11-10. I even have my earbud in tonight to make sure my earbud in to make sure that there is no no error like last night. But you know what? A win like that in Hoover at the SEC tournament absolutely warrants a special edition nightcap with scone. So that's exactly what you're going to friggin' get. So thank you for being here. You know the drill. Smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. I'm going to be very honest with you. The game ended about half an hour ago, but I was giving Musso his runway on Musso at the box. I said, I don't want to go step on him. Dude's working hard. I'm not just going to jump in right now and try to pillage his audience. But you know what? It's been more than half an hour since that game ended. I said, screw it. He's had his opportunity. It's my turn now. So let's go. Let me know what you got in your cup. Let me know what you're pouring. I got a little E.H. Taylor barrel proof right now. Let's get it. Tigers win 11-10. How about the Tom Hart jinx at the end of that ball game? Going into the ninth, Tom Hart said LSU had won just one time all season when trailing after 8 innings. Oh, by the way, that was the Southeastern game, like in February, whenever the hell that was. And then he said, South Carolina had not lost all year. South Carolina had not lost all year when leading after 8. First time for everything, y'all. I'll drink to that. Cheers to the Tigers. Tigers win. No pool jump. Do not even ask me. Do not even ask me, because I told you no pool jump. No pool jump unless if LSU wins their super regional. If LSU gets to Omaha this year, I'll do a pool jump. Cheers. All right, we'll get a full pour here. I have a feeling I'm going to finish that bottle tonight. Let's see how it goes. Okay, y'all. Smash that like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page. Share the post. Shout out to all my partners over at Parish Construction and Roofing. Parishbuilt.com, got the info right there. Got Parish pinned in the chat. Okay, let's talk about this. Clint, look at my guy. There it is. First one I see out the chute. Bottle chugs or get out. You damn right, Clint. I'm with you, bro. I love it, man. Hope you and the fam are good. So, okay. Let's begin with the end and then go back to the beginning. We have a lot to talk about. We have to talk about Thatcher Hurd's day. We have to talk about the bullpen. We have to talk about LSU building the lead, losing the lead twice, and then rallying like they did in the ninth and then finishing it out. So a ton to do, and glad you're here. Please smash the like button. You know, what the hell? This thing's just dangling. I'll put the other one in too. Nah, I don't want to put the other one in. Whatever. Wish I could throw it over my shoulder. God dog it. I need to get an IFB, whatever. Someone should make that into a meme. Okay. Jesse. Hey, Jesse, I got it. It's why I'm wearing my earbud today, to make sure the mic is on. All right. We're not having a repeat of last night. Okay. So let me start at the end, because I've already seen some of this. I've already seen some of, Karras, the first baseman, who'd moved from third base to first, by the way, Bucknered the ball. And he did. He did. Look, but it started off in the ninth with Milam single and Brown single. And Brown, beautiful piece of hitting by Jay. First of all, Milam, who needs to stick to the left side. Anyway, Milam rips one through the right side of the infield. Beautiful piece of hitting. Jake Brown did exactly what he needed to do. Pitch was away. He lofted it into shallow left field. Just put it where they want. You got your first two guys on exactly what you needed. And then I thought, my goodness, I thought Larson got it all on the deep fly. I thought it was gone. Died at the warning track. But it allowed Kling. Kling came into pinch run for Milam, so Kling gets to third. Brown steals second, and so you got second and third. Milazzo, I thought Milazzo got it all. But when a ball's coming at 74 miles an hour, even when you turn it around, it's just not going to fly, and especially in that ballpark. So, Veach was throwing the changeup. He's throwing at 71, 72, 74 miles an hour. So even though they pissed on those balls, they just died. But he got the run home, got Kling home on the sac fly. So Milazzo did exactly what he needed to do, and that brought up Braswell. And what an AB by Braswell to get down in the count, to take the changeup low and away, which would have been so tempting to swing at, to come back and work it even at 2-2 and then to rip that ball into left field to give LSU the lead. What an AB by Braswell. I saw a quote, forgive me, I'm going to open up my Twitter right now. I saw a quote from Braswell. Man, of course, I'm not going to find it right now, but he said something to the effect of, I'd have to say that was the best at bat of my I haven't been happier in this game. I have a lot of respect for South Carolina, but I'm an LSU Tiger now. In this game, meaning in the game of baseball. So an awesome moment for Braswell against his former team to come up with the game-winning hit was just phenomenal. Now, in the 8th inning, so LSU got 2 in the 9th and they got 2 in the 8th. Obviously, when they got down, which we'll get to how they got down in a second, because that kind of ties all this together. And I'm coming to y'all. Y'all, seriously, drop your comments. I'm coming to you. Big respect. 550 watching live. I friggin' love every one of you. Thank you so much. Please smash that like button if you're new. Subscribe up to the channel. So you got the 2 in the 9th, but in the 8th. So I'm going a little backwards because I want to set the stage with how I'm going to do this. But in the 8th, Larson lines out to left. Milazzo reaches on the throwing error by the third baseman. Think about this. In the 8th inning, it was a grounder to third and just way too casual with the ball and took too much time, fired it into the ground. Milazzo's safe. After that, Tommy White flies out to right. So you got 2 outs and Milazzo on. Jones walks. Great AB by Bear Jones, too, by the way, to draw the walk. And it was 3-1. They went high at him a couple of times, but it was a great AB, a patient AB. And so there's 2 outs, and you got 2 on, and Pearson up, and he hits a ground ball to first. And at that moment, like South Carolina should be out of that inning with a 4-run lead. But the kid Bucknered it. And it went right through the wickets, 2-run score. Travinsky struck out to end the inning, but you're within 2. And then the 9th inning played out the way it did, as we just described. So you can look at it and say, look, game should have been over, and probably should have been. I mean, they should have been out of the 8th with a 4-run lead. Instead, kid lets the ball go between his legs. It's a 2-run game, and then LSU comes through with the rally in the 9th to win it. Okay, but what I would like to say is this. South Carolina had 2 crooked numbers. They had a 5-run third and a 4-run 6th. I want to go through that because this is what I think is important. And it was a game where when you end up with an 11-10 game, this is sometimes how these games go in Hoover when you get deep into the week and everybody's deep into their pitching staff. And you have days like this. And it just comes down to clutch moments. But I want to point out the 2 rallies, the 2 crooked numbers that South Carolina put up. We're over 600 live. I freaking love y'all. So in the 3rd inning, remember, Thatcher Hurd comes out, strikes out the side in the 1st, gets 2 strikeouts in the 2nd. Through 2 innings, he's got 5 strikeouts. We're like, this is the fucking guy we've been waiting on. And by the way, Nightcap, I curse on Nightcap. Like, this is Hurd. This is it. This is the sharp Thatcher Hurd who went an inning and 2/3 against Ole Miss and looked sharp. Now here he comes after 2 innings. Boom, boom, sits down 5. I mean, it was incredible. It's like, dude, this is what we're waiting on. Goes into third inning, walks Cassis on a 3-2 pitch. Hit by pitch on Brinling. Brinling goes to second on a wild pitch. Cassis advances to third. So 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Petrie hits that little bullshit double. It was a great pitch by Hurd. I hate to say this, but like Hurd made the pitch on a great hitter in Petrie, and he just sort of like excused me one right over Bear Jones's glove, and 2 runs score on that. And no, I'm sorry, 1 run scored on that, and Petrie gets a double. I mean, off a ball that barely landed on the grass behind the dirt at first base. That ended up being a double. So, like, that was a bullshit double. But so think about what I just said. LSU pisses on 3 balls in the 8th. In the 9th. Pisses on 3 balls that and Tommy White's to the track as well. So, like, LSU, like, pisses on 3 balls that are all outs. Petrie is beaten and excuse me swing, and he ends up with a double. Like, that's baseball. So Petrie is the double, and then he walks Jackson. So 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and the bullshit double. They come and get Hurd because Messina's up, and he's homered 3 fucking times already in this tournament at this point. And the first pitch Ackenhausen throws, Messina homers to left center. It's a grand slam, and you're down 5-1. And at that point, I'm a little bummed, and I'm thinking, man, that's probably it. But the Tigers rallied in the top of the 4th. They came right back and got 4. And the thing I love the most, Pearson doubled to lead off, Travinsky doubled, Milam singled. So you had boom, 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 3 straight hits, double, double, single, and then Brown's up. And I love this. If you saw Brown in the post-game interview, and y'all know what I'm about to say. You listen to me, you know what I'm about to say. Jake Brown in his post-game interview, they're asking about the home run he hit because Brown comes up, hits his first homer at the SEC tournament, ties the game at 5. Right after they took a 4-run lead, you come back with a 4 spot to tie it. And Jake Brown says on the set with Dari Noka and David DeLucci and says, I missed 2 bunts. The only way to come back from that is to hit it over the wall. Hashtag never fucking bunt. That's why. You want to know why? By the way, earlier in the game, South Carolina, who had been murdering the baseball, tried to bunt and bunted into a double play. Great play by Alex Milazzo, by the way, to get the lead runner at second. They turned it. Never bunt. Because even if you advance the runner, you're giving up an out, like we talked about. But what is the opportunity cost? What could have happened? Could you have gotten a walk, a hit by pitch, a wild pitch, a single, a double, a triple, a fucking grand slam? Maybe a 2-run homer. Who knows? You don't know unless you swing the bat. Never fucking bunt. Cheers. Okay, so real quick, then I'm coming to y'all. So my point being, if you're going to look at the 8th inning with Cassis letting the ball go through his legs at first, fine. And you could say, look, Carolina had and they blew it. Okay, but in the 5-run 4th, LSU walked 3 guys and hit a guy. And then in the 4-run 6th, just remember, this is how the 4-run 6 played out. 700 motherfucking people watching. Miss y'all. I love y'all. Please smash the like button, subscribe up to the channel if you're new. Okay, so then here's how Carolina ends up coming back in. Remember, LSU taking the lead. LSU tied it, and then they had the solo shot by Jones, and then the RBI ground out by White. So LSU's up 2. LSU's up 7-5 at this point. And then they come back with a fucking 4 spot because LaCroix singles up the middle, hat tip. Cassis singles to the left side. Okay, so excuse me. So then that's when they bunted, by the way. That's when they bunted. They go single, single, bunt into a double play. Anyway, so they got a runner at third, 2 outs. Jackson hit by a pitch on an 0-2 pitch. Christian Little is a pitch away from getting out of this and maintaining the lead. 0-2 pitch, hits Jackson in the back of the leg. Messina comes up, and you already know. Messina singles, and 2 runs come home. I mean, in the same way that the kid at third who spiked the ball on Milazzo's grounder, same thing here. LSU would have been out of the inning with the lead, and instead, what transpired, same thing here. Messina singles, Nolan singles, and all of a sudden they put up a crooked number, and now you're looking up at him at that point. So you're down 4. So anyway, I thought it was I thought the breaks, the mistakes evened out. I wish Thatcher Hurd could have gone deeper into the game. I think what we've probably seen from Hurd is he's probably good for about 2 innings. He was great for an inning and 2/3 against Ole Miss. He was great for 2 innings tonight. We haven't seen him extend since the Florida series in March. I mean, it's been 2 months since we've seen Thatcher Hurd extend. So maybe he's just a guy that's going to be a 2-inning guy for you. And he can be really effective for 2 innings. But after that, it's probably not going to go well. Aside from the Grand Slam, Ackenhausen was good. And I know that's kind of it's fucking stupid to say. So aside from the Grand Slam, aside from that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? I mean, right. It was brutal that he gave up the Grand Slam on the first pitch, but came back after that and got you 6 outs. Again, Little, same thing, but he unraveled. Lower was pretty good. And how about Ulloa? I thought for certain that as soon as LSU got the lead in the top of the 9th, I thought they were going to get Griffin Herring ready. I even tweeted, I was like, get Herring up. And they went with Ulloa in the 9th. And aside from the 1 single he gave up, he was really good. So Ulloa went an inning and 2/3, struck out 2. He walked 2, only allowed the 1 hit in the 9th. But Tigers win, man. Tigers win. God, they advance. So, I mean, it's not even, and I know the question some of you are probably going to ask, and I understand why you're going to ask it. It's going to be like, well, if they win the tournament, are they going to host? And I've answered this a ton of time, but um, no, they're not going to host. Like, as excited as we are, you have to think grand scheme college baseball, big picture college baseball. You don't go from being a bubble team on Tuesday morning to hosting a regional on Sunday. It just that just ain't how this is going to go. So, but you won 3 games now. Of course you're in now. It's just a matter of like, are you going to get onto the 2 line, and how much can you keep climbing? Baseball America today had their regional projections out before this game, and they had LSU as the 3 seed in Santa Barbara. I've told you this before, but I'm going to say it again for some that maybe haven't heard it. LSU is I know Jay is lobbying to go out west, and it makes sense. If you go out west, like, they don't play a particularly good brand of baseball. A lot of those teams have fallen off. If you go to Santa Barbara, you will probably have more fans than Santa Barbara will. The problem is, when you look at Baseball America's projection, Santa Barbara is the 16, right? So great. They're the lowest of the regional hosts. So that means you're the number 1 of the 3 seeds. The problem is, if you go win that regional, you're paired with the one who they had as Tennessee. So it means you'd be going to Knoxville in a super regional. I'm not saying there's ever an easy path, and quite honestly, the odds are you're going to be paired with an SEC team's regional. It's just a numbers game. So odds are you're going to be playing if you win a regional, your super regional will be on the road in the SEC. That's just math. It's the odds are that's how it's going to play out. So that sucks. At this point, you're just waiting on, like, what would be the best draw, however that could play out. So, okay, let's get to y'all. Almost 800 people watching, man. If you got a friend sitting at home, let them know. We're at 791 people watching this live. I'm so fired up for that, man. So thank y'all so much for being here. Smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. As always, I've told y'all we launched a new roofing company, Terrio and Tilly and me. It's our same crew, all from our previous company. Long story short, that nobody really cares to hear about. We just decided it was best if we started our own company. So that's what we did. We broke away, started our own company, but it's all our same people here. So you need a roof inspection, repairs, replacements, commercial, residential. We'd love to help you out. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. We've got the same phone number, like literally the same phone number as we used to have. So anyway, all right, let's get to y'all. I'm at the bottom, and hang on. Brandon Stewart Musso was so high tonight. I don't think he was high. He was probably drunk. All right, let me go to the very top and just say some what's ups to the OGs that were there from jump. Oh my God, there's so many comments. Thank y'all so much, man. Much love and respect. I would love to go through every single one of these. My guy Trivia said first, although you weren't. Chef 22504 said we're waiting. He was first. So shout out to Chef. Shane Danos, what's good? Appreciate y'all. Carter DeLon, best feeling in the world for Braswell, no doubt. Brian Chandler, what's good? ATX, FF Levinthan, Randall, Jared, Brett, what's going on? David, South Carolina. See, there, look, South Carolina helped out a bit, but David, that's why I wanted to get into that, because you can say Carolina helped out, and they did. The error on the throw on third baseman, the error on the first baseman, absolutely. But look at the 2 crooked number innings that South Carolina put up, and you're talking in the third, 2 walks and a hit batter, the excuse me swing, and then the same thing in the sixth. So LSU did an awful lot to give them opportunities in their crooked number innings as well. So sometimes those things even out, and I think that was the case today. All right. Trevon Lawrence. So what's the play for Saturday? I think you got to wait and see who you're going to play. So Kentucky and South Carolina play tomorrow. And so you'll play the loser of Kentucky, South Carolina is out. The winner, you'll play on Saturday. You get a day, a day off, obviously. I would think at this point, you're probably going to start Dutton. as an opener, even if it's just, hey, just what they did last week against Ole Miss, go get me 3 outs and then hand it to the next guy. You could absolutely ask Griffin Herring to extend in this ball game. I am very curious to see if they go to Cade Anderson, the freshman lefty, who, as we've talked about, was so good in the pre-conference, but has really struggled to get SEC hitters out. I mean, if you look at, again, I think, by the way, this is not a knock on Cade Anderson, man. I think he is going to be awesome at LSU. I think it's really just a matter of, like, sometimes dudes come into the conference and they're just not ready to get out SEC hitters. Like, Cade Anderson was really, really good in the midweek, and that warranted opportunities in SEC weekends. Just didn't work out. Like, he did not have any good outings against SEC competition. God, I hate pop-ups so much. So, like, again, like, please don't misunderstand me. Like, I think Cade Anderson's going to be an awesome. I think he'll be in the rotation next year. He's going to be awesome. He just, like, against Mississippi State, 2/3 of an inning, no runs on 3 hits. Florida went 1 inning, 3 runs on 3 hits. They gave him another shot against Tennessee, pitched 1 inning, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks. Went out there against Auburn, pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 5 runs on 4 hits. You know what I mean? Like, he went there again. He went out against Ole Miss, faced 1 batter, hit him. So maybe you go to Cade Anderson at some point in that game, but I don't know that I trust him to get SEC hitters out right now. Nicholas said, why can't Hurt extend first rounder? I don't think anybody thinks he's a first rounder. At one point in his career, he might have been thought to be that, but that ain't he ain't a first rounder. But we did talk about that. MLB has their prospect ranking, and they have. I looked at it today. They have Hurt number 101. So they still have him as a borderline top 100 prospect in this draft. So, I mean, look, you throw a 96-mile-an-hour fastball and you've got an incredible spin rate on your breaking ball. He's a great prospect. He is. He is a great prospect because he's got great stuff. It's just here, man. It's between the ears. I can't command it. So, and by the way, why can't he extend? I think a big part of it, we talked about this on AFR today. The last time Thatcher Hurd extended was the Florida game back in March. Since then, the most pitches he's thrown is 38. I mean, there's something to be said for that. Like, your arm isn't conditioned to throw 60, 80, 100 pitches. Like, you haven't done it in 2 months. So that's like anything else, man. It goes into conditioning. Let's see. Hal Jubin, is Jay Johnson still Edo? I don't know who said that, man. Like, people shitting on Jay Johnson. Look, I mean, to be very clear, this was a tough job this year. I mean, you lost 7 everyday players from a championship team. You lost the best pitcher and best position player in the history of the program, a lot of leaders. I mean, it was not an easy thing to come back from. I think Jay had missteps this year. I think he missed on some portal guys. I mean, look, Mac Bingham hit 350 in the Pac-12. You want to talk about the difference between the leagues? There was a 350 hitter in the Pac-12. He hits 100 points lower here. I mean, his SEC average is 200. So, I mean, you missed on some guys. It happens. You know, you thought Thatcher Hurd was going to be your Friday night ace. He's like he's not. He went from being your Friday night guy at the start of the season to literally not even contributing in the second half of SEC play. So, I mean, there was some stuff that went along with it, but he figured it out. And he's getting the most out of his guys now. Same jingle, different jingle, but my guy, Mr. Toby Tomplay, is working on it. Trey Potan, thoughts on Milazzo behind the plate tonight? Tough night for Milazzo behind the plate. Now, the odd thing is he actually had a couple of brilliant plays too. The fielding the bunt and throwing the runner out at second, hanging on to the ball at the collision at home. But I think even Alex would tell you there was a couple of times tonight where balls popped out of the mitt. The pass ball that I think they probably rolled a wild pitch, but he was expecting a ball from Hurd down. It went up and it went right to the backstop, allowed runners to advance. That was before Petrie's double, which scored a run. I think even Alex, if you asked him, I think he'd tell you it was not a great night behind the plate for him. He's your best defensive catcher. That's not debatable. But tonight in a vacuum, I think even if you asked him candidly, he'd tell you like he wasn't great. But look at what he did offensively for you tonight, which is the biggest change in his game, man. And I'll give a ton of credit to Terrio for working with Alex for a long time. And I mean, Milazzo was 2 for 4 tonight. He was 2 for 4, and he had the sack fly. In the had the sack fly in the ninth. I mean, I thought it got out too, man. I mean, he pissed on that ball. So he had a good day at the plate, not his best day behind the plate. I think even he would tell you that. But that's even the greatest of all time have rough days. I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't change the fact that he's your best defensive catcher. He had a rough night, and I think he would tell you that. Let's see. Derek, what's going on? Yes, we should host if we win the tournament. That's not happening, Derek. Like, y'all got to understand this. That is not going to happen. Like, you cannot wait. You cannot wait. WEIGHT. You cannot wait a tournament more than a 30-game conference regular season schedule and a 56-game regular season schedule, which, by the way, LSU had a strength of schedule, non-conference strength of schedule in the hundreds. So no. 1 week in Hoover does not supersede what you did over the previous 3 months over 56 games. So no, I love LSU as much as anybody else, but I don't care if you run rule the next 2 games and win this tournament. You're not a host. And I'll remind you, let me not just shoot from the hip. LSU in 2010, this is the best example. The best comp is LSU 2010. LSU won the national championship in 2009. In 2010, they come back out, and they struggled for a chunk of 2010. They had some injuries. A lot of stuff just didn't go their way. They went 39-20. No, wait, hang on. Sorry. Hang on. They were 41-22. So that team was actually 2 games better. Well, actually, that was after. And in conference, they were 14-16. So that team in 2010 was 14-16. They were a game better in the regular season and won the SEC tournament and got sent to LA to take on UCLA in Los Angeles. So no, 13-17, you are not going to be a regional host. You have got to stop that. Anyone that is trying to say that, and I am trying to be realistic with you here, okay? I'm not trying to crush your hopes and dreams. I'm just telling you, you got to punt that. You have to look at what is realistically in front of your face, and what's in front of your face is, hey, look, you went from bubble to firmly in. Now, how high can you climb? Can you get on the 2 line? Like, what if you're the 2 in, one? I don't know. Would you rather be a 3 in Santa Barbara or a 2 in Chapel Hill? I don't know, but that's kind of what you're looking at right now. All right. Ooh, where are we? All right. Let's see. They ain't pitching till regionals. Don't know who you're talking about, but look, if you get to the championship game on Sunday, the thing that I'll tell you, I don't think you would see Jump go out there and extend. However, what I would tell you is on whatever would be those guys' bullpen days, and I don't know. I don't know what Yeski's pitching plan is. I'll ask and find out. But, on a bullpen day, a lot of times those guys, they go heat up and they fire. Like, it might be 15 or 20 pitches, but they get hot, they get into a lather, and they go throw 15, 20 pitches in a bullpen. There's nothing to say you couldn't take your bullpen day and make it on Sunday in the tournament and pitch in that game and go throw 20 pitches, give an inning or 2 innings. So, like, I think that is something that could be on the table. But I'm not, I would not expect to see Jump go on 4 days rest again in this tournament if you get to Sunday. But I could see them use him in a much, much more limited capacity, kind of like what Arkansas did today with Hagen Smith. Hagen Smith threw like 30 pitches. I mean, it basically acted as his bullpen day. They knew they were a national seed. They didn't need to win. They didn't care. It was just like, hey, get out there, stretch your legs, warm up your arm, throw, and then, we'll worry about next weekend. So, I mean, that's basically what LSU did with Skeens last year in this event against Arkansas, incidentally. And Skeens wasn't great. It was just
what it was. Michael Wells, what's good? Hal Jubin, what's going on? The Big Cracker, what's going on? Keith Kinchin, how do you think our team looks? I'll tell you the thing that's most encouraging. Yes, I think we all know Jump Holtman, 1-2. And look, we saw, and I'm not trying to put out an unrealistic expectation, but I'm telling you, we saw 2 years ago, Ole Miss won a national championship behind two pitchers. They had Dylan DeLucia and Hunter Elliott. Both were fucking awesome, and they didn't lose a game in the postseason. And so they rolled through the winner's bracket. Now, if they'd fallen into a loser's bracket, they probably would have been in trouble. But they rolled with those two guys. LSU could do the same behind Jump and Holman. But I'll tell you this, the thing that's most encouraging to me is for so much of this season, this offense just looked at Tommy White and Jared Jones and said, save us. If it wasn't Tommy White and Jared Jones, LSU didn't get it. Look at what happened tonight. Stephen Milam, freshman, 4 for 5 tonight with 2 RBI. He was followed in the lineup by Jake Brown, freshman, 3 for 5 tonight with a 2-run homer and a double. Followed by Ashton Larson, freshman, who granted was 0 for 5 tonight. Larson wore the collar, but Larson smashed 2 baseballs, 2 warning track flies tonight. They put good swings and he just wasn't rewarded for them. So you are getting production now. Braswell, 1 for 4, but it was a big one that he got. Tommy White was 0 for 6 tonight, man. Tommy White wore the collar. On a day when Tommy White was 0 for 6 and Jared Jones was 1 for 4, those two dudes combined to go 1 for 10. Tommy White and Jared Jones combined to go 1 for 10, and you scored 11 runs on 13 hits. That's what's most encouraging to me. That's the biggest deal. It's no longer, please save us, Tommy. Please save us, Jared. You've got dudes through this lineup that can help you win. That's the biggest thing to me. If you ask me, what was the question? How do you think our team looks, Keith? That's the thing that is the thing that if this team goes on to win a regional advance, it's going to be because of that. Because they're no longer solely relying on Tommy White and Jared Jones offensively. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think you're talking about Javen Coleman or Cade Anderson tomorrow or Saturday. I think it's Sam Dutton gets the ball. I think Sam Dutton, and you can obviously go to Griffin Herring as well. And then a lot of guys could come back. I mean, you have a day off. So like Ackenhausen tonight, I don't know what's up with my allergies. Like Ackenhausen threw 35 pitches tonight. He takes a day off tomorrow. He could give you something. Christian Little threw 51. They're not going to bring him back. Lohr threw 14. He could come back. Ulloa threw 32. He could give you something. Gavin Guidry could have obviously pitch for you as well. So you got plenty of options on Saturday. But my guess is Sam Dutton would be the one that starts. And even if it's just like they did against Ole Miss in Game 3, just go get me 3 outs. Just be an opener. That's what I think they would do. Let's see. Matt, I live in Houston, and that lid you're wearing are the same colors as Strake Jesuit, where my son goes to high school. I need one of those. How can I get one? Brad, we'll do it, man. We are going to have a parish hat party. I was talking to Terrio about it. I think we're going to do it. Hopefully the game time works out next week for regionals, but that's the plan. Either Friday or Saturday of regionals to do our first parish hat party. We'll probably collab with my guy, Steve Levy over at Pluckers and go to either Bluebonnet or Nicholson and just invite everybody to come out, drink beers, eat wings, get a hat, and let's watch some baseball. So that's what we're planning on. We got to wait on time. And Brad, as far as getting you a hat, I'll mail you one if I got to. We'll make it happen. Dutton, Anderson, Herring Saturday. With the exception of Herring, with the exception of Anderson, I might agree. But then again, Dutton, well, you got a lot of options Saturday, man. I don't know that he's going to throw Anderson, but we'll see. They're going to Fleming's tomorrow, and Jay Johnson's paying for it. Is that allowed? Yeah. Let's see. By the way, yes, it is allowed. Like at SEC Media Days every year, the guys that are all on the trip all go to a nice dinner. Like you can absolutely do that. Like coaches have meals at their house. Like, yes, that's allowed. Michael Castello, what up, man? Ump was inconsistent. Yeah, all umps are bad at their jobs, including Stephen Miller, who's an ump who's bad at his job. Got to be Dutton. Stephen, I agree. I agree. I think it's Dutton who gets the ball first, even if it's just an opener role. Let's see. George, go Tigers. Aaron, Tremaine, what's good? Feels like a team of destiny. Where's the people who call for Johnson? I'm sorry, you're going to have to help me. You're the second person. Did people actually call for Jay Johnson to be fired? Like, I don't know if that's real or if you're trolling or if that was like a real sentiment. Like, I didn't hear that. Nobody on my show said that. Like, nobody's texted my show or tweeted me like saying fire Jay Johnson. Now, there's idiots who said the season's over, bury them, throw dirt on them, they stink. And no matter how many times we have this conversation over the years, it never seems to actually marinate. It never seems to actually digest with all of you. Like, it's baseball. It's a long season. You're allowed to get better. I mean, you have the example of Mississippi State and Ole Miss of teams that were not good that got in, went on a run, and won a championship. Like, teams are allowed to get better. When you get to the end of the season, you shorten your bullpen, you shorten your bench. Like, you know the guys you count on. You're rolling with the same dudes every day. It's different. You're not in school. It's different. So anyway, let's see. Brandon, Matt, please let Moose know how the bracket works. I was not watching Mooso's show, so I'm not sure what he said. Steven Anderson faced one batter the last 3.5 weeks. Yeah, and he hit the guy. I'm with you. We agree. It's done. If you want to beat LSU, you better bring your big ball bats because we swing in. Barry Jocelyn, some of us thought this team was sleeping for some of the season, awake now. Look, I don't think it was necessarily they were sleeping. I think a giant part of it is Jay had sort of an unenviable task in replacing 7 everyday guys, and he brought in the number 1 high school class and a bunch of transfers. And when you do that, especially in the portal era and the NIL era, I think you feel pressure to get guys work. Like, I heard on the broadcast today, or I've heard Jay say this multiple times, like about Jake Brown, for example. Jake Brown was the number 1 player in Louisiana. The number 1 player in Louisiana he's a two-way guy, he could pitch, he could hit, and he's barely played. Because, like, you're trying to win, and you're not going to live with the growing pains of a freshman out there if you have better options. So, like, you're constantly trying to find better options. And the problem comes to, like, if you're Jake Brown and you get a spot start and you go 0 for 4, then you're looking over your shoulder going, well, I'm not going to play for another month. And I think there was a lot of that this year. But he's shortened it down and I think knows who his guys are. So, anyway, I love it. Look at Justin. Need one of those fresh hats. Where do we get one? Again, we're going to have the Parish Hat Party very likely this coming Friday or Saturday, depending on LSU baseball's regional start time. Dakota, what's good? Cortland, what's going on? Aaron, Jimmy, have you heard anything about Chase Shores coming back? Jimmy, I've been told for a while now that Chase Shores could pitch right now. Like, he's ready. He could pitch. And my opinion on the matter is if Chase Shores could throw one pitch for you, then you do it. Because he's not redshirting. I mean, let me rephrase that. He's not coming to school for a 4th year. So if you threw him for a pitch this year, then you lose the year of eligibility. But man, if you hang on, I got a text. I want to read that real quick. Hang on. All right. It's not. It was Hannah. He was asking if we should do a show on Monday. We're not doing shows on Monday. So anyway, we're to Shores. So Shores, as I understand, is throwing, is good, is ready. But if you're Jay, you're thinking 2 things. Number 1, I don't want to risk it. And number 2, I don't want to give up a year of eligibility. My point is, and I've talked to enough scouts about this that all say the same thing, like, that dude's not spending a 4th year in college. He throws 100, and he's already had Tommy John. So next year is Chase Shores' last year at LSU, period. It's his last year in college. So if you can get one pitch out of him, use him. But I candidly didn't even ask. I don't even know if Chase Shores is on the postseason roster. If he's not, then it's a moot point because he can't pitch for you. Go Tigers, start Guidry. I don't think they're going to do that. Aaron, Noah, Triple D, 225, Randy, Dutton, Johnson, Moffitt, Primo, Guidry. Again, Cam Johnson's not pitching either. Like, when was the last time Cam Johnson pitched? Like, this is the thing I think most people don't realize when you get to postseason, especially. Coaches shorten their bullpen. They shorten their staff. Skip used to always say, by the time you get to Omaha, like 7 guys. So look at LSU. You've got Jump, you've got Holman, you've got Herring, you've got Ackenhausen, Little. He counts on those guys. Who am I missing? Hang on. Jump, Holman, Ackenhausen, Little, Herring, of course. Ulloa would be 6. Guidry is 7. Like, there's 7 right there for you. And then on top of it, like, if you need, you're up 10, down 10 guys. Like, Lower could be a spot guy for you if you need him. But that's kind of it. Who am I missing? Then like you have your up 10, down 10 guys. Like if you're up 10 or down 10, then you could go to Javen Coleman or Cade Anderson or Aiden Moffitt. Like you're not, or Primo. Like Primo, like when it was a 4-run game, Primo was in the bullpen tonight. Like, okay, if it doesn't go well then it did. Guess what? You rode with Ulloa, who's one of the guys. But no, they're not starting Guidry, and I don't think like Cam Johnson's not pitching either. Like that's what I was looking at. When was the last time Cam Johnson pitched? And again, I think Cam Johnson's going to be awesome. Like he's a lefty who can throw mid upper 90s and has a horizontal break that's big league ready. Like he's got the stuff. The dude would have been a top half of round 1 guy, passed on a ton of money to come to school. But and they gave him a ton of opportunity. But he threw a third of an inning against A&M and gave up 2 runs on 2 hits. Before that, the last time he pitched was Missouri. I mean, since the Tennessee series, he's thrown twice. A third of an inning against Missouri, a third of an inning against A&M. That's it. Like Cam Johnson's not pitching. Like he's not throwing a meaningful pitch for you this year. Joseph Lee, Johnny Mango, Derek Gaeta. What happened? Okay, just talked about Chase Shores. Irfan Sayad, rough day behind the plate. Didn't bring that to the plate. True. Brandon, Musso was so high, he thought LSU was playing the winner of the Southland next game. What are y'all talking about? Cortland, kudos to SEC Network, flashing the postseason resume of the conference behind the plate. 11 to, yeah, I saw that. Not only the RPI, but also the KPI. Another fun fact. So seriously, real quick, let me tell you this. I'm going to give you a little inside baseball stuff real quick. So there's 700 people watching, right? 717 to be exact, live. And thank you for that. Please smash the like button, subscribe up to the channel. So the NCAA does a scrub of social channels in the internet for things like that. So like I was very intentionally, when LSU was winning against Georgia and Kentucky the first 2 days, tweeting about like LSU being in, because they do scrub to see what the feeling and consensus is online. So yes. So the point of that was good. Like the SEC putting that like 11 teams, the top 25 KPI or whatever it was, like all that stuff behind home plate. Yes, that's very, very intentional. That's a way of using a giant medium to lobby for your team. So my point is, all of you should go on Twitter and or Facebook or wherever and write things in the affirmative about LSU, because they do a scrub, and that is something they absolutely consider, as weird as that may sound. Okay. Mac, I didn't think they pitched bad tonight. Wasn't great either. Obviously, bad ball landings, big slam, racked up quick. It was 2 bad innings. They were really bad innings, but they were bad innings that you brought upon yourself, which is where we started. So if you missed it earlier when we started tonight, a lot of people are going to talk about the 2 errors in the 8th by South Carolina, and they were a big deal. It opened the door. I mean, South Carolina should have been out of the inning with no damage, but throwing error from third to first, and the first baseman let the ball go through his legs. Yes, that was not good for them. But then in the third, you walk to and hit a guy in their 5-run inning, and then in the 6th, in their half of the 6th, you were Little had Jackson 0-2 with 2 outs. He hit him in the back of the leg, which brought up Messina, and a wild pitch is what let the runners advance. So, like, I mean, you were in a situation where Messina's single he would have come up to start the next inning with nobody on. Instead, he's on with two. He's up there with the bases loaded because Little hits a guy in the back of the leg on an 0-2 pitch. So, I mean, you helped them a bunch too in this game, contributing to their crooked innings, no doubt. So that stuff evens out. LOL, Vandy just bunted. Yeah, whatever. Bats woke up. Dale, what's going on? What about Coleman? Again, another guy that hasn't pitched much. Like guys, it's not hard. This isn't hard. Like, just look at the guys that you see. Look at the guys that he uses all the time. I mean, today was a day where they went to Thatcher Hurd because he was sharp against Ole Miss. He was sharp against Ole Miss for an inning and 2/3, and he was sharp tonight for 2 innings. He struck out 5 through the first 2 innings. So the 6 outs he recorded, 5 of the first 6 were strikeouts, and then he fell apart in the third. Walked a couple guys, hit a guy, and that was bad. He unraveled, but at least now you feel like, okay, I think I can go to Thatcher and get 6 outs out of him. You know, he could be really good for 6 outs. After that, total crapshoot. But like, let's look at Javen Coleman. And again, I want to be clear, not knocking Javen Coleman, man. I think Javen Coleman has had really good moments in his career. The Tommy John's unfortunate. He was a really good strike throwing lefty at the beginning of his career. Hated to see it derail with the Tommy John. And I think there's been times when he's been good and he can serve a role. But like, Javen Coleman hasn't thrown against an SEC team since Vanderbilt. Y'all, that was April the 6th. Since April the 6th, Coleman has thrown twice. He threw a third of an inning against UNO and 2 innings against Grambling. That's it. They're not throwing Javen. They're not starting Javen Coleman tomorrow, like or Saturday. Like, you know who the guys are you're counting on. Matt French, what up with the challenge on the last score? What's the limit on a challenge? Great that Jay called bullshit. Yeah, I didn't even know that rule. Apparently, it was something like there's a certain amount of time before. I mean, like in football, it makes sense, right? I mean, you have to get the challenge in before the snap of the ball in the next play. Well, I mean, I guess you could say, well, is it before the next pitch or whatever the case may be in baseball? But Jay kind of called bullshit on that. It didn't matter either way. I mean, Kling very clearly was on the base when he tagged up on Milazzo's sac fly, so wouldn't matter either way. Thomas, hard to believe LSU's 1 win away from having a 500 record in SEC games after the way it started. Hey, look, you know what, Thomas? I'm going to say this, and I don't mean for this to be, and I told you so, because it's not. But I am going to tell you the conversation we had very candidly for a long time around this team, which was the first half was fucking brutal. LSU was the only team in the league that went on the road 4 of the first 6 weeks. You played at State, one of the toughest venues. State's going to be a regional host, most likely. You played Florida, who they fell apart late, but still, Florida had the number 1 strength of schedule in the country. And you'd played them in the national championship a year ago. You had to go to Arkansas. You had to go to Tennessee. You had Vanderbilt at home. Vanderbilt, by the way, has probably played themselves into the tournament. Point is, like, that was brutal. It was fucking brutal. And we all knew it. We said, look, it's going to lighten up in the second half. You just have to get. If you can get, the thing we said was like, if you just get to the halfway point at or around 500, you could make a run. They didn't. They were 3-12 at the halfway point. So it's much worse than we thought, but we knew it was going to be tough early and then it would lighten up late. And that's what's happened. And look, the last 3 days, you've won games in Hoover, but you've beaten whole staff approaches. You ain't beat nobody's ace. Like, let's just call it what it is. You haven't beaten anybody's ace. Georgia went with a bullpen day. Kentucky went with a bullpen day. Carolina had a bullpen day. Like, y'all. I mean, you've won 3 games and it's awesome, but that's why you're not going to be a regional host. Like, you've won 3 bullpen days and it's awesome. You got wins you needed, but like, let's also remember where you were and why you were there. Like, if LSU had opened conference play against Missouri at home, I mean, how different does that feel instead of on the road at Mississippi State? What if you get Auburn in the first half instead of Arkansas? You know? It all matters, man. Let's see. Dutton and Helmers for set. God. Helmers may pitch, but it'd be at the end of the game if you're up 10 or down 10. Steve and LSU started winning when the bats started hitting. The pitching has long been good enough to win. Certainly since the Missouri weekend when Jump threw the complete game 7-inning run rule. go and jump Holman. You've got a 1-2 punch that's as good as anybody's. I'm not saying like you have a Hagen Smith, but I'm saying your two are as good a 1-2 as anybody has. I agree with that. Let's see. Dakota Chef. I need a Milam jersey ASAP. Douglas, will Jaden Newt pitch this year? No. Hurt is in his head. AJ, you got to roll out the freshman out of the bullpen. Who? Like, why is this? I mean, I'm spelling it out there, and it's still hard. I'm 30 minutes behind on comments. You know what? I'm gonna go to the most recent. Anyway, yeah. I missed a whole bunch. Sorry. Let me go to just the last 10 minutes. Sorry for those I missed. Hey, look at old Nyquillis there. What up, dude? Nyquillis. Something ain't right with Thatcher. Yeah, he unravels quickly, man. When things start to shake, he doesn't pull it back together. If people up north knew what they're missing out with college baseball, yeah. The problem is they're still thawing out in April. He knows better than trying to stream LSU football games. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. Erratic. Fred, did they say the broadcast Jay was arguing with about the challenge? Yeah, they thought that he didn't get the challenge in soon enough. That Kingston didn't get the challenge in soon enough. What are y'all talking about? Oh, got it. Father John David Mathern, to the point of depth. LSU has 19 of their pitchers that have 12 or more innings pitched on the season. Seems like it took Jay longer this year to get settled on his trusted guys. Again, I don't think I know. A big part of that is, yes, you're trying to figure out who you can trust, but you're also trying to get a lot of guys innings and keep guys happy. Think about Cam Johnson, y'all. Let's use Cam as an example. Cam Johnson passed on 7 figures to come here. And we thought there might be a chance that Cam Johnson worked his way into the rotation by the end of the year. And it clearly didn't happen. He's not even contributing. You want Cam Johnson here, but in the portal NIL era, what's to say Cam Johnson looks and goes, man, I ain't pitching here. Let me get a bag and go to Florida State. Whatever, just throwing out of school, right? I don't know. So if you're Jay, yeah, you want to get him out there. You want to get him innings. You want to keep trying him. But at the same time, you could probably realize it ain't happening for this kid right now. Anyway. Let's see. Adam Penny, what team gives LSU the best path to Sunday? I think Kentucky. Kentucky just can't pitch. It's bizarre because they won 22 games. But if you go look at Kentucky's weekends, every weekend when they lost a game, it was just a fucking bloodbath. Just real quick. So Kentucky. All right. So for example, so they lost so in the final weekend of the regular season, they lost to Vanderbilt in game 3, 12-4. They beat Florida 12-11. They lost to Arkansas 10-3. They got run ruled by South Carolina 10-0. They lost to Tennessee 13-11. You see my point? There's a game they beat Auburn 13-8. Point is, every weekend where they lost a game, there was one of those where it got away from them because pitching staff wasn't great. Their pitching just isn't very good at all. They don't have an ace, and they're not very deep, but they're a very good offensive team, and they're a veteran team. Just a lot of old veteran college baseball players that know how to win. So I'd rather see Kentucky, quite honestly. But honestly, if it's Kentucky or South Carolina, if you're bringing Gage Jump back, and again, if you're just joining us, I don't want to have you go crazy on it. I'm not saying Jump comes back and throws 100 pitches again. What I'm saying is, if he was going to have a bullpen day, for example, you could go get 30 pitches out of Gage Jump. Like, he can get you 6 outs, So, depending on what happens Saturday, like, do you need Griffin Herring? You could Little, who pitched today, take Friday, Saturday off and give you something on Sunday? Maybe, Anthony Milam's the next great tire. He's fun to watch. Bill, firmly believe people keep saying we'll host if we win the tourney or trolling you at this point. I don't think so, Bill. I just think, like, I've done this long enough to know just not everybody hears everything you say. And I think there's people who think that can happen, and it cannot happen. Got it. Nyquillis, thank you. I pressed the like button firmly. I don't smash things. Got it. Understood. But thank you for your compliance, Nyquillis. Yeah. Chico and the boys, Chase Shore Saturday. Steven, only the second time LSU has been trailing by 3 or more runs in the 7th inning or beyond won the game. Is that this year? Oh, that felt like a Todd Polites. That felt like a Todd Polites thing for sure. I wonder if that's this year. Oh, got it. Okay, there we go. In Hoover. Got it. Was simultaneously the most entertaining and stressful game of the season. Let's see. Father, selection committee chairman's son being on our staff helps JJ's lobby work to get us out west. So, for those that don't know, J.R. Teagues is the chairman of the LSU, of the selection committee. I've mentioned this many times. I think some of you might have heard it, but if you haven't. So J.R. Teagues was the head coach at Southeastern. He's now the athletic director. J.R. Teagues' son was on staff at Southeastern under Matt Reiser. Of course, Reiser was let go. Reiser did not retain Teagues' son as well, and Jay Johnson hired him. So, yeah, you have a sympathetic figure on the committee. Of course you do. Like, yes, you do. But to keep in mind, like, you also have people on the committee that are LSU detractors. There are people in different parts of the country that don't want to give LSU whatever they want because LSU wins all the time. So there's probably give and take there, with all the way the conversations go. All right, y'all. Smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Get your ass to bed, Jacob Wallace. What does that mean? AJ, not to mention, he had a big break last year in the same tourney. Hurd seems to be one time through the lineup guy at this point. He even make it all the way through the lineup. The third inning is when he fell apart. All right, Dustin, maybe walk Messina with the bases loaded like Buck Showalter did with Barry Bonds. Or don't hit a guy in the back of the leg with Messina on base and 0-2 pitch. Let's start Blake money tomorrow. Lisa, good evening. Liked and followed Parrish. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all very much as always. Parrish Construction and Roofing would love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Parrishbuilt.com. Info scrolling on the bottom as well. It's our same crew. It's Terrio, it's me, it's Richard Tilley, it's Joe Morales. We've added some great new members of the team, Trent Davis. But again, like I say, it's all the same people. It's our same crews. It's the same company. It's not the same company. It's a new company. It's the same people we had down here that all just started a new company. So while you may not recognize the brand, the logo, the name yet, we're getting there, and we're going to make sure everybody knows it. And I'm going to have this thing like permanently affixed to my head for a long while. But we'd love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. We appreciate the support. And even if you don't, if you could do like Lisa did and follow the Parish socials, Twitter, Facebook, Insta, we'd really appreciate that as well. How about this? Ryan said, good afternoon, Matt. Ryan, it's 10:51 at night, brother. This ain't afternoon, man. No mute button tonight. We're starting a new streak. You got it, brah. Nyquilus, who was the little pitcher that looked like Jordan Spieth, not crazy velo, but throws darts a couple of years ago? Little pitcher that looked like Jordan Spieth. I don't know. Anybody know what he's talking about? Cole Lecoq. Lecoq. Which host site would you love to see LSU end up? Santa Barbara. I would like to see LSU go west to Santa Barbara. I think that's a super manageable regional. I think you could win it in advance. Now, if Santa Barbara is the 16, that means you're paired with the 1. So you're going to get Tennessee or A&M or Kentucky or however it plays out, right? One of them at the top in a super, which is not ideal, but you cross that bridge when you get there, but you got to get there. So give me the more manageable regional, and I'll worry about the supers when you get there. All right. Let's see if we got any more. Hey, it's FU Michael Terry. I think that's FU Michael Terry. If not, you'll have to correct me if it's just another man named Michael Terry, but I think it might be FU Michael Terry. All right. Daryl feels so much better this time of year when the Tigers are playing well, especially after being on life support for 2 short weeks ago. The Bama game was gut-wrenching. You're right. Daryl, it's so true, man. I mean, think of how on the brink they were after that. Again, I know we threw this stat out a bajillion times, but it's worth mentioning again, considering how different a place we're in now. There has never been a team in this format. So since 99, the super regional format, there's never been a team, an SEC team, go 12-18 in league play in the regular season and make it to regionals. 3 times you had teams go 12-17 when they had a game, they missed a game because of rain or whatever, but never a team go 12-18. So that's what you were up against. You had to sweep Ole Miss, and you did. And that put you very much on the bubble, maybe like a last 4 in type thing. And you had to go get a game in Hoover, and now you've gotten 3. So you're so firmly in. You've won 6 in a row. It's exciting to see, but yeah, man. This is so. Timmy said, Jay loves Dinger Dutton. I get it, Timmy, but the thing I love about Dutton is Dutton throws strikes. Like, he'll get hit sometimes, no doubt, but look at what was almost your undoing tonight. Walks and hit by pitch. That was almost your undoing tonight. The 5-run 3rd inning, you walked and hit a guy. You walked 2 and hit a guy to load the bases. Like, I mean, all those runs scored. In the 6th, you hit a guy with 2 outs and an 0-2 count. That guy came around to score. Like, that was almost your undoing tonight. Give me a guy that throws strikes. Dutton's walked 4 guys all year. I looked at it earlier today. So I get it, man. I'm not telling you that Dutton's going to pitch in the major leagues, but I'm just like looking at going, can Sam Dutton, like, can someone throw the ball over the plate with a little bit of movement to see if you can make let a hitter get himself out? You know what I mean? Instead of giving dudes bases. I mean, Dutton on the season has 26 strikeouts, 4 walks, 24 and a 3rd innings pitched. I mean, that's a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Okay, I'll take that. Anthony, it's crazy. Texas, no, you coming next year too. Schedule's going to be brutal. Interesting to see what Texas does. Do they retain Pierce? Do they fire him, hire a new coach? Gary, Uncle Scone, 3-0. Guess the late start time did have a little effect. At least we get a day off. I don't know if it did. I mean, they started off pretty well. LSU scored first, and Hurd struck out 5 of the first. He had 5 strikeouts the first 6 outs he recorded. Feels like they have heart, fight they didn't have the first half. I disagree with that, Brian. I don't think the problem was ever that they didn't have heart or fight. Like, I don't think you ever saw that. I just think they didn't have an identity. I just don't think they just hadn't established their lineup. They hadn't established their rotation. I mean, Jump didn't start until your Friday roll until the Missouri series. It was a 6th week of conference play. I don't think it was that you didn't have heart or fight. I think that's one thing about this team they've always had. I just think they just didn't quite know who they were and who the leaders were going to be. Brock, at what point do you lay back, rest everyone, and get ready for regionals? You don't. And now, there's an important distinction there, Brock. You're not going to be careless. Like, use gauge jump. If you get to Sunday, jump would have 4 days rest again. You could bring him back just like you just did, but you're not going to go throw him 100 pitches again on 4 days rest. But could you throw him 2 innings? Yeah. So that's the point. I mean, you're going to go play and try to win the games, but you're not going to do it at the expense of jeopardizing health or guys' ability to compete a week from now in regionals. Luke, let's get super chats going. I don't do super chats, Luke. I don't want to monetize my audience ever. I don't want people paying to leave comments. I don't want you tipping me. I don't need your money. All I want is to do good content. I want y'all to hang out. And if you need a roof, call Parrish. That's all I want. And if you don't, awesome. Hang out anyway. Dilwad, the original OG. Robert, Matt, recruiting question. Does Jay recruit heavy on the East Coast? Wonder if he only has contacts out West. No, he's not just a West Coast recruiter. Jay is an everywhere recruiter. Jay went to Florida to get Tommy White here. So Jay is as meticulous a coach as I've been around, man. And he's always recruiting. I think what's interesting, like, for example, I was talking about this, I think, this morning on Morning Scone. There's a kid who Jay recruited to Arizona, who Trevor Schmidt. So Jay recruited this kid to Arizona, and he signed with Arizona, but never played for Jay because it was the year Jay's first year here. So Trevor Schmidt goes to Arizona for 1 year, then transfers to Fullerton Junior College, where he's been for the last 2 years. Now Jay has him signed to come to LSU, and he's supposed to be the Bear Jones next year. He's a big dude who's basically going to play first base in club homers. So I think Jay has some of those guys, like with Mac Bingham, like with Riley Cooper, Jacob Berry, guys who he had recruited, he played for, he knew. But I mean, whether it's high school guys or transfer guys, they're going to get the best players. And the high school thing is interesting because it doesn't matter where you're from. I mean, Milam was a West Coast guy. Ashton Larson's from Kansas City. Cam Johnson was playing at IMG. It's really just a matter of you go to these showcases and you find out who the best players are and you recruit them, and you recruit enough of them and try to weigh the risk versus the reward, the risk of them signing a pro deal and never showing up on campus. It's so funny. Not funny, haha, but just interesting, for example. So I had a scout send me this week. There's a screenshot of, this was an MLB draft board, and it was the top 5 high school prospects for this draft. Number 1, Connor Griffin, LSU commit out of Mississippi. Number 3, William Schmidt, LSU signee from Calachi. Number 4, Cam Caminiti, LSU signee. 3 of the top 4 high school prospects in this year's draft are LSU guys. One's from Baton Rouge. Caminiti's out west. And then Connor Griffin's in Mississippi. And none of them are coming here too, by the way. Joshua, Aaron, Nyquillis. Where are we? Let's see a couple more. Noah, Eric. This looks like a Jay Johnson team. Appreciate you going live. Brent, some of the announcers were saying this is probably Jay's best coaching job. All of the players he lost. Noah said, Matt, people are offering you money. Pay attention. No, I don't need your money. I don't want your money. Matt don't need your pennies. It ain't about that. I just like I don't. I am allergic to monetizing my audience. I'll never put up a paywall. I'll never do like what's the thing where like on Twitter now you can have like subscribers. I'll never do that. Like the day I do that is the day I stop doing this. Everybody gets hit with subscriptions all the time and paying. No, like put out great content. People will watch it. And if people watch it and you have a connection with your audience, people will want to sponsor it. And then you have this symbiotic relationship. There was Lisa just a bit ago. You just saw her post in there. Matt, heard you last night, went and liked all the parish stuff. Good luck to you. Awesome. Thank you. And if you don't need a roof, cool, whatever. If you do, give us a shout. We'd love it. Thank you. But that's it, man. I don't want anybody to do super chat me. I don't want anybody giving me money. I don't want your money. I just want you to, if you love the show, I just want you to be here. And if you need any of the services of our sponsors, like that's one of the things y'all have heard me say this. One of the things there are different models, revenue models always, but like I've done as well as anybody in this market has ever done with this model of doing great content and getting sponsors. But like the people sometimes who go, oh, there's so many commercials. Do you realize like you're looking at commercials the wrong way? Commercials are the reason you get to listen to the show, watch the show for free. So be grateful for those advertisers and support them instead of being bummed that you get a commercial. Now, like on cable, I think that's different, right? Like if you're paying, like if I'm paying for a subscription for something and I still got to get ads, then I'm a little pissed. But like, I get it. Like I pay a subscription to Netflix. I don't want commercials on Netflix. You know what I mean? All right, anyway. So thank you is my only point. And I'm not monetizing my audience ever. I mean, I'll tell y'all candidly, we're working on a project. We're always looking at different ways of building new content models, scaling, all different types of stuff. Guarantee's very forward thinking in that respect. And I'll tell you, going back at least 5 years, I have like adamantly fought against the idea of a paywall. They brought in consultants that wanted to add paywalls to 104.5 ESPN, to our app, even like a freemium deal. And I've been like, hell no, gonna get out. That's never, as long as I'm here, that's not happening. It's not happening. Like if that's what you want to do, then I'm leaving. So I'll just never do that. I'll never monetize my audience. I just appreciate you listening. And if you need a service that my sponsors provide, I'd love it if you support them. That's it. That's the deal. Luke, Matt takes any and every penny. Luke, I'm going to tell you something right now, bro. I'm going to tell you how much bullshit that is, all right? I know you don't know me, and that's fine. If you knew the amount of business I walk because I don't believe in the product, I don't believe in the business, it's a conflict with someone I have, I'll tell you right now. I had 2 this week that I turned down. 2 advertisers this week that I turned down. And one that wanted me to endorse them, and I would not do it until I went and met the owner. On Monday of this week, I went and had lunch with the owner of a business I wanted to advertise with, and they're like, I'm not doing it until I meet you. And I sit down and I vet you and I talk, because I'm not going to put my name on your business and tell my audience to go support you and have them trust me, and then you not be reputable. So it's funny that you think that, Luke. But I think it's always funny when people who consume media think they know media when you really don't know shit. I'm not trying to be rude to you, man, but that's just the reality. Like, it's like fans that watch sports and think, like it's the armchair quarterback thing. It's so different with media. Like, you consume media, you watch our shows, you listen to our shows, and you think you know the business, and really you don't know shit. So if you ever want to know, ask me. I'm as transparent as they come in. I'll tell you anything you want to know. Just ask me a question. I'll tell you anything. But go ask our director of sales. If you ever have a wild hair, call to Guarantee, ask to talk to Jesse Mapes, our director of sales, and ask Jesse Mapes how many times Matt Moscona has turned down business. People that when you've got budget and quota to meet, how many times is Matt Moscona turn down advertisers? Have that conversation.
Let's see. Where are we? Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Keep talking SC fans. Craig Duga, it can happen. It will happen. Like Limp Bizkit once said, you got to have faith. I don't know what you're talking about, Craig. Oh, man, I am so far behind. Anyway, I'm really far behind. It's 11 o'clock. That's me. Love sports. Don't know shit. I'm not saying you don't know shit, Clint. I'm telling you, you don't know shit about my business. Just like I couldn't walk into your business and do your job. Like when you were running the liquor department and you're buying and selling, meeting reps. Like I'm not so bold as to think I could have walked in there day one and done your job. But when you do a public job like I do, people think they can do your job. All right, Donald, we'll see you, man. Let's see. How about you monetize us, give the proceeds to the collective? No, just donate to the collective. I don't need it. Just go donate to the collective. Push the blog, already push the blogs. Matt, agree and love the way you market. Here for the content, listening when you partner with someone. I don't live in LA. Most partners can't use, but companies like Evermore, I'll research. Awesome. Thank you, bro. All right. Where are we? Let's see. Jeremy Jett said, who starts Saturday? My guess is probably Dutton, Carly Cat, let's go. Jason Keene, what's up? Dennis Blair, mad at you? For what? John Hendricks, you guys want to support Matt? Listen to a show and comment. There you go. What did he tell us? He made $12 1 month for Morning Scone. I didn't make $12 for Morning Scone. I'll show you all this. It's my Twitter monetization. Hang on. I've shown you all this on AFR before. X. Those are always funny when I get them. But the thing is, like, the monetization on Twitter is good because it ultimately it pays for my Twitter Blue. Dog it. I'll show you one. I don't care. It's literally like $12, $15. Doggone it. Man. Oh, well, you don't want me just sitting here looking at this all night. I'm about to wrap up. What you need? Yeah. Okay. I gotta go get Drew out of our bed and put him in his bed. So let's wrap this thing up. John Kelly, we have no one left. Here we go. I don't know what that means. Love the hustle, big up. Thank you, Lonnie. Appreciate you. Great question, Mac. Will Jake Brown pitch in college or stay position play? They got to make that decision this offseason if they're going to use him as a pitcher. Then he's got to decide what he wants to do, right? Does he want to be a position player and hit, or does he want to pitch? I don't know that he goes both ways at LSU. Last year, Paul Skeens was a guy that would hit 20 bombs if he was a two-way player. But he made the right decision in sticking with pitching. So, oh, man. Dennis, I'm in Clanton, Alabama at ER. My granddaughter broke her arm. Sorry to hear that, Dennis. I hope y'all have some peace tonight, man. Very sorry to hear that. You think you know, but you don't. You never will, Jim Moore. You could know. Just ask me. That's the thing I would say. Thomas is Bianco on the hot seat. What I've heard is there's a possibility that Bianco could retire, like an agreed upon retirement. I don't think he's getting fired. They would owe him like $8 million. So he'd maybe retire and stay in an emeritus role. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that's a possibility.
Janet, thanks for being there. Baby Bobby Boucher's Lawnmower Thoughts on Hurt started the show with that. If you want to go back and catch it. Are you pumped for a new college football game? Not really, Daniel. I haven't played video games since literally since Super Nintendo. I played Mario Brothers on Super Nintendo. That's the last time I played video games. Nail, I love this. Schools paying players' thoughts. I think the really, really tough thing will be in a rev share world how where you cut budget, because right now every dollar an athletic department makes or earns top line, they spend coaching salaries, scholarships, facilities, recruiting budget, travel budget, all that sort of stuff. It's all spent. So now if you have to take, let's say you're LSU, you make $100 million. Now if 20 million of that has to go to the players, well, now your budget went from 100 to 80. Where are you cutting 20 million in expenses? That's the fascinating thing for me. And ultimately, I think what happens is sports get cut. I think the non-revenue sports end up getting cut. Timmy, thank you for not monetizing your audience, taking our chats. Others don't take that approach. Because here's the thing, Timmy, and then I'm gonna answer Daniel's here in a second. And Daniel, I'll play for you. Hang on. The reason, Timmy, is I learned a long time ago, you don't chase money. If you do the right things, the money will follow. If you're chasing the money, then you're being led. You're allowing the wrong thing to lead you, and you're going to make bad decisions if you're just following money. Do the right things, and money will follow. Hang on one second. I'm going to go put Drew in bed. I'll be back in less than 60 seconds. I'm going to leave my mic up this time so I don't turn it off. And then I'll shred for you, Daniel. All right. So Daniel said, ask Matt anything. Sarcastic face. When was the last time you shredded on that guitar? Of course, I was right there. A few bars from the greatest rock band ever. Like this one too.
Anyway, y'all don't want a concert. But anyway, for whatever it's worth there, Daniel Basham, yes, I do play. Not well, but I like to play. Anyway, King of the Hill theme song. Yeah, look at Chris. That's my warm-up too. I love it. I love to play that one. Thomas, what's Panamsky up to these days? Derek's working for an agency representing coaches. We text and talk from time to time. Gary Devin went down. Georgia don't know it. Yeah. Lemon yellow. That would be daughter. I'm sorry, not daughter. Jeremy. Lemon yellow sun. On three. Tony, that was so cool, man. You got it, bro. Thank you. All right, are we done? All right, I think we're done. Thank y'all for watching. For the 400 or so of you, I don't love Van Halen, man. Don't love Van Halen. Whoever had Matt serenading to bed with a smooth Melanie tonight won big. Hey, man, that guy made a frowny face at me, and I'm the most competitive human alive. Ask Erica. Coolest watching Eddie jam outside Wrigley. Hell yeah, man. All right. How about David? Pretty sure Paris doesn't get out to Middle Mississippi. Maybe you can tell me what I should be looking for in a local roofing company. Well, first of all, someone's local. I would definitely say a local roofing company. Because there's nothing worse. This happens all the time. Like, I've learned so much about this industry. A lot of times companies will just go where the work is. So you'll have a lot of out-of-towners. Like, a storm comes in. Like, I'll tell you this, even if like you're in Louisiana, you don't hire us, hire a Louisiana company. Because what'll happen is storm comes in, roofing companies come from all over. In a lot of states, you don't need a license to practice to roof in that state. And they'll come in, and let's say they'll go into an area that was hard hit. They'll get, they'll get contracts. They'll go set up in a neighborhood, get 30 contracts, and they'll jam and maybe do like 10 roofs. And if you're making, depending on the size of the roof side, whatever, like if you're making, let's say 30 grand on a roof, right? And you do 10 roofs and you do 300 grand, you're an out of town company, you go, okay, I'm good. Let's go back home. Well, now what about the other 20 people you signed up that are now starting over at the back of the line with somebody else? And then what happens if they come install your roof and then something happens and you call them? Well, they're back in Oklahoma. Are they coming to service your roof? Hell no, they're not. So the most important thing is find a local reputable company. Like, even like if you're in Louisiana, even you don't call us, like, call a local company. Like, definitely do not hire an out-of-towner. And I would always recommend going with a company that's been around, that you're confident is going to be there, because if something happens, are they going to come service you if something goes wrong? Like, that's always a thing with any contractor. All right. Key Cheese, Matt, how many jobs do you have? I don't know. Is this a job or is this just something I do for fun? I mean, like, I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm streaming on YouTube, so I'll make YouTube money on this from AdSense, but not a lot. I mean, I get an opportunity to put the Paris logo on. Hopefully some of y'all call us and maybe we sell a few roofs. I'm not getting paid to do this. I just love what I do. I'll tell you this, man. The last time, like, if the day ever comes that I don't love doing this, Gary said, does Paris cover Denham Springs? Yes, we do, Gary. We cover the entire state of Louisiana. Like, we'll go anywhere in the state. So 100%, yes, would love to help you out. If you go to click the link that's pinned Parish Built and just fill out the form on the homepage, or if you want, you could text me and I'll help facilitate for you on my text line 396-4400. But or call tomorrow, the number on the screen, and and Christine will answer the phone and she'll get you set up. But anyway. What were we talking about? Oh, that's what I was saying. Last thing, and then we're done. The day I turn on the microphone and don't love doing this, I will quit. I promise you that. I promise you. But like, it's so energizing for me on big days in sports when I get to go do my job and sit at a microphone and talk about stuff. It still energizes me. And like, when I'm gone and I come back,
Like when I go on vacation, I come back after a week, I'm like raring to go. Like I'm like, open the door and let me in. Like I'm ready to go. And the day I just know it, like I know that feeling. And the day I don't have that feeling anymore, I will quit this job. I'm telling you, okay, you'll never hear me on it. It's got to feel like, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but it's like an athlete when they just know they're done. Like, do you just hang on and keep doing it because it's a paycheck and all? Or do you walk away? Like, I know, I'm telling you, like the day I don't love doing this anymore, I will walk away in a heartbeat, like without reservation. So, anyway, hey, how much for the hat? Love to support local community. No charge, man. Like I'll tell you, we ordered our batch of like maybe the first batch of like 200 or 300 hats that came in. So we're gonna do we're gonna do a hat party. I think like next weekend for regionals, either Friday or Saturday. So if you're in the area, big plans to come by. If not, man, come by our office. Let me know. Come by the station. I'll have one for you at the front desk. Whatever. I mean, trust me, I would so much rather have all these on people's heads instead of in boxes in the office. So I would much rather want people to have them and wear them. So, and take pictures of them, put them on social and everything. So anyway, all right. Thank y'all so much, man. Let's get out of here. It's 11:30. Y'all have a great night. Go Tigers. Day off tomorrow for the Tigers, and back at it Saturday against the winner of Kentucky and South Carolina tomorrow. So, all right, I'll be up early, man. Gonna do morning scone tomorrow. I'll be on Sirius XM at 8 a.m. Central with who am I going on with? It's Caroline Fenton, and let's see who texted me. Who am I going on with? It's Doring. So CD and Caroline Fenton, a Gator and a Tiger. Looking forward to that. So I'll be on Sirius XM tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central if y'all want to join. Okay, y'all be great, man. Have a great night. We'll see you. Peace. Perish.